Welcome to our deep dive. Today we're going to be exploring 17 easy habits for physical health and fitness.
Okay.
It's from the blog A Point of Light, and I think it's going to be really fun to just go over all of these.
Yeah.
They're pretty easy to implement,
Mm-hmm.
and they're things that I think we can all benefit from.
Yeah.
So the blog starts off with talking about motivation, and it suggests joining a fitness challenge can be a game changer, especially if you find a buddy to join you in on that.
Oh, that's interesting. I like that. Yeah.
And I'm curious, like, what is the science behind that? Why does that work?
Well, when you think about it, it's like having someone to hold you accountable can really make a difference.
Yeah.
And there was this study, I can't remember the exact name of it, but it found that people who joined a fitness challenge with a friend were something like 30% more likely to stick with it for a whole year.
That's amazing.
Yeah. It's that shared commitment, the support. It can really amplify your results.
That's incredible. So it's almost like having a built-in cheering section.
Exactly. Yeah.
But even without a challenge, they stress that consistency seems to be key.
Mm-hmm.
And they emphasize moving your body 3 to 5 days a week.
Okay.
And what's even better is it doesn't have to be like intense workouts.
Right. Yeah. It could be just about anything.
Yeah. They even mention like dancing, cycling, swimming, just, get moving.
Yeah. And it's all about finding activities you genuinely enjoy.
Yeah.
The more you enjoy it, the more likely you are to stick with it. And so it becomes less about, forcing yourself to go to the gym and more about wanting to do it.
Exactly.
It's like choosing movement that energizes you rather than drains you.
I love that.
Yeah.
I think that's a great point. And speaking of movement, the blog highlights those simple things that we often forget,
Yeah.
like taking the stairs instead of the elevator,
Right.
walking more, parking farther away.
Yes. Yes. All those things.
I know I'm, guilty of circling the parking lot to try to find the closest spot to the door.
Yeah. Yeah.
But why are these little things so important?
Well, they lower the barrier to entry, basically, for fitness. Like, imagine it as building a foundation of movement throughout your day. So then when you do have time for a workout, or if you do have time for a workout, it feels like a bonus. It's not a chore.
Yeah,
So you're kind of getting ahead of the game by doing all those little things.
that's a great point. So instead of feeling intimidated
Mhm.
by the idea of like intense workouts,
Right.
we can just start by incorporating these little bursts of activity.
Yeah. Just move. Yeah.
However,
Just get up and move.
yeah. Now, the blog also talks about evening routines, especially the benefits of stretching or yoga before bed.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah. What's the science behind that?
Well, when you stretch before bed, it's not just about lengthening your muscles. You're also sending a signal to your nervous system to unwind. It helps release that muscle tension and lowers those stress hormones,
Yeah.
Cortisol, all those things. And it can even prepare your body for better sleep. So it's like a physical and mental signal to your body that it's time to rest and recharge.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay. Speaking of sleep, another pre-sleep habit that the blog mentions is staying hydrated. They talk a lot about, having balanced meals and healthy snacks throughout the day.
Yeah.
And, I know a lot of people, myself included, sometimes struggle with snacking.
Yes.
Do you have any tips for making healthy snacking more efficient?
Honestly, meal prepping can be your best friend.
Yeah.
Spend, like a couple of hours each week chopping veggies, portioning nuts, or even prepping like overnight oats. Having those grab-and-go healthy snacks just sets you up for success when those cravings hit. That's such a practical tip. I love that. I love the idea of like prepping for success,
Yes.
Kind of sets you up to make the right decisions.
Exactly.
Yeah. Now, the blog also mentions supplementing with vitamins, specifically iron and vitamin B complex.
Yeah.
It's always a good idea to consult a healthcare provider, right?
Absolutely. Everyone's needs are unique. And this actually leads to a key point the blog highlights, which is listening to your body, tuning into your hunger cues, your energy levels, and overall how you feel, how you feel overall. It's just so important.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's almost like connecting with your inner wisdom and trusting what your body is telling you.
exactly.
Yeah. And speaking of tuning in, one of the more interesting habits in this blog is the practice of mindful breathing.
Oh, yeah.
Now, that's not just for meditation, right?
No, not at all. It's really about bringing awareness to your breath, even for just a few minutes each day. It can really help manage your stress, increase your focus, and just, improve your overall sense of well-being. So it's like a mini meditation.
Yeah.
You can do anytime, anywhere.
Exactly. Like
Yeah.
if you're feeling overwhelmed, just take a few deep breaths. and it can really make a difference.
I like that.
Yeah.
And the blog also talks about enjoying treats in moderation.
Mm-hmm.
And it's about finding that balance, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. It's not about deprivation.
Yeah.
It's about creating a lifestyle that nourishes you. Physically, mentally, the whole picture. It's about enjoying those treats mindfully, savoring each bite and appreciating the experience.
That's such a great reminder. Now let's talk about the last point in this section of the blog, which is all about protecting your skin.
Mm.
They recommend wearing SPF daily,
Oh, yes. Yeah.
even on cloudy days. And they even recommend a specific product, Naked Sundays,
Yeah.
Cabana Clearwater Gel Serum SPF 50.
Wow. I'll have to check that out.
Yeah. So, and it's, good to have specific product recommendations.
Mm-hmm.
And it's about understanding why sunscreen is so crucial.
Yes.
It's not just about preventing sunburn. It's about protecting yourself from skin damage and premature aging.
Long term. Yeah.
Yeah. So we've covered quite a few of the 17 habits already. We've talked about motivation, movement, nutrition, sleep, and even skincare.
Mm-hmm.
It's amazing how many practical tips we can unpack
Yeah.
from just one blog post.
It's really well written.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But what strikes me is the importance of consistency.
Oh, absolutely.
It's those small, consistent actions practiced day after day that create lasting change.
Mm-hmm. It's a journey, not a destination, really.
Right. It's not about reaching a finish line.
Yeah.
It's about embracing the journey
Exactly.
to a healthier you.
To a healthier you. Yeah.
Yeah, to a healthier you. It really is about the journey and building on this idea of consistency. It makes me think about the role of community in health and fitness. Even though this blog focuses on, individual habits,
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if there's a subtle message there about the importance of connection.
It's funny you should say that. There's a ton of research out there that links strong social ties to better health outcomes. It just makes sense. Like having that solid support system can really buffer us against stress and help us thrive.
So it's like that saying, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together.
Exactly. Yeah.
Seems like the blog is kind of hinting at that.
Yeah, for sure. And it brings us back to that earlier discussion about listening to our bodies. It's not just about the physical sensations. It's about tuning in to our emotional and social needs too.
It's about that whole holistic view of well-being.
Yeah. Mind, body, spirit, the whole thing.
It's all connected.
Hmm.
Thinking about it this way, even those seemingly small habits
Mm-hmm.
take on a deeper meaning.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Take the example of mindful breathing. Sure, it's great for oxygen intake and all that, but it's also a gateway to greater self-awareness and emotional regulation. It's a way to connect with ourselves more deeply.
It's like a domino effect almost.
Yeah.
One healthy habit can lead to positive changes in other areas of our lives.
Absolutely.
Suddenly, those 17 tips feel less like a checklist
Yeah.
and more like a roadmap to a more fulfilling life.
I like that. A roadmap. Yeah. And that brings us to the next section of the blog, where the focus kind of shifts from the physical habits to something a bit more internal.
You're talking about the section on mental wellness?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's interesting how the blog weaves that in with the physical habit.
It's all connected, right?
Yeah. So in this section, they're really emphasizing the power of mindset.
Mm-hmm.
And they suggest incorporating practices like gratitude journaling
Okay.
and positive affirmations into your daily routine. It's about cultivating a positive outlook, recognizing the power of our thoughts.
Yeah. It's like they say, change your thoughts, change your life.
Right. But how do these mental practices actually impact our physical health?
Well, there's actually a growing body of research out there that shows a strong mind-body connection. Chronic stress, for example, can really wreak havoc on our immune systems and increase our risk for various diseases. So by managing our stress levels and cultivating a positive mindset, we're actually creating an internal environment that supports our overall health.
So it's like we're giving our bodies a fighting chance to thrive.
Exactly. Yeah.
So in essence, this blog is about more than just physical habits. It's about a whole person approach to well-being.
The whole picture.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that brings us back to the idea of finding what truly resonates with you.
Yeah.
It's about experimenting with different habits, seeing what sticks, and creating a routine that supports your, unique needs and goals.
Yeah. I think of it as building your own personal wellness toolkit. You got to find what works for you.
Yeah, that's a great analogy. So if you had to pick one key message for our listeners to take away from this deep dive, what would it be?
I think it would be that health is a journey, not a destination. It's about finding what works for you, incorporating habits that spark joy, and just celebrating those small wins along the way. Don't get caught up in striving for perfection. Focus on progress. Be kind to yourself throughout the process.
Beautifully said.
Thank you.
And it's a message that, really resonates with me. It's about embracing the process.
Yes.
Not just chasing the end goal.
Exactly. And speaking of embracing the process, the next part of the blog touches upon something that a lot of people struggle with: setbacks.
Yeah.
And how to overcome them. Because let's face it, nobody's perfect.
Yeah.
We all stumble from time to time.
Yeah, it's true. Life happens.
Yeah.
And sometimes those healthy habits, they fall by the wayside. What does the blog suggest for getting back on track?
Well, it really emphasizes the importance of self-compassion, and reframing those slip-ups as learning opportunities. So instead of beating yourself up about it, ask yourself, what can I learn from this?
Right.
How can I adjust my approach moving forward?
It's like turning those setbacks into stepping stones.
Exactly.
For growth. So instead of giving up entirely, we can use those experiences to fine-tune our approach.
Yeah.
And build resilience along the way.
Exactly. It's a much more empowering perspective. What do you say?
Absolutely. And it ties into the larger message of self-care.
Yeah.
And prioritizing your well-being.
Taking care of yourself.
Yeah. And it leads perfectly into the final section of the blog, which focuses on building sustainable, healthy habits for the long haul.
Okay, yeah. This is where it gets really interesting. The blog really challenges us to think beyond those, quick fixes and trendy diets.
Right.
It encourages us to view health as a lifelong pursuit, a journey of continuous growth and discovery.
So it's about creating a lifestyle that supports our well-being, not just for a few weeks or months, but for years to come.
Exactly. Long term. Yeah. And it offers some really practical tips for making that happen. Like, it emphasizes setting realistic goals, finding accountability partners, celebrating your successes along the way.
It's almost like creating a support system for your healthy habits.
Yeah.
So it's not just about what you do. It's also about how you do it. It's about creating a sustainable approach that fits seamlessly into your life.
You got it.
Yeah, you've hit the nail on the head. And that brings us to the blog's concluding thoughts, which I think beautifully encapsulate the essence of this whole deep dive.
It does. It really does.
So the blog ends with like a really powerful message about embracing imperfection. It reminds us that setbacks are a natural part of